Hey guys, Morbid here, and today we're going to be going over Season 3, Episode 5. So, of course, I'm going to have some notes. I have some notes that I took. I had to watch the episode twice, because I watched it the first time just for my reaction, and then I watched it again to get like a secondary opinion, because now I know what's going to happen, but now I'm looking for other things and taking notes, you know. So, first of all, great episode. A really good episode. Of course it's Magician, but it's a great episode. We got to see a different size, and we got to see some more how the time works more in Magicians. As we know, in season 1, time was a big play into the Battle of the Beast, even though they lost, but it still played a big role into preparing them, seeing different timelines and whatnot. And we even saw that in potentially season 2 when they did the Flexor spell to go to the different timeline in order to talk to Alice when they had lost Quentin. But we're gonna jump right into it. So first, I'm gonna go off base how we saw everything in the episode, and we're gonna talk about it. So first, Alice and Quentin are on awkward terms at the moment, and I don't agree why they're on so awkward terms. I mean, I fully understand, but me personally, I'm just like, y'all need to get over this, like, right now. Like, yeah, the whole Lamprey thing, and she doesn't love him. She's not the same Alice who she used to be. The Alice that Quentin knows, but that's the Alice he wants. And it's only, and I keep saying it because I'm a firm believer, it's only awkward if someone makes it awkward. And so Alice was making it awkward, but Quentin is good for making stuff awkward too, as he's just an awkward person. So, but I think he's used to his awkwardness at this point, which he better be used to it being grown now. But let's go to the next one. Katie is still hurt about saving Penny, and now she is in the hospital, but she blames him for it. Instead of, normally when someone loses a loved one and they know that they're not dead or something else happened and they're still around, they'll be happy. But Katie was upset about it, that she went through all of this and got messed up because of Penny. And the quote that really says, like, if you say, I love you one more time, I'm going to kill you. I was like, wait a minute, what? I can't say I love you? Penny can't say that? Okay. But she's really hurt. Like, look where she ended up. She almost killed herself, thinking she killed him. She had to make the decision of either to give the body to the body eater so that he could go work for the library still, or go straight to the underworld. And now that he's in front of her, she's just like, I don't want no part of this. She's trying to work on herself, which I encourage, because working on yourself is very important. But don't isolate yourself to where now you don't know how to love anymore, or give affection, or be too scared to get attached to people. And I think that's what Katie's doing at this point, and I don't condone it because I love Katie a lot. But if it's a part that she has to go through in order to be successful for the future part of these quests that's coming soon, then it's got to be done, you know? And then we see Margot is again getting married for alliances and military power, but this time it's through the Fairy Queen. And we see that the floaters, or the people from the floating island that's no longer floating, they come and they're being invited by the Fairy Queen to merge their two clans in order for military power, as the floaters have 4,000 strong soldiers, which is now, compared to not a lot, but because magic is gone, it's quite important to have a good military power, as other nations can just invade you now that they know you don't have magic. Even though that Fillory was known for the King Queen being great magicians, but now they're not because there's no magic. So they can be taken over, as it was the most predominant. But that's why you need the army and your alliances and continue the royal bloodline and so on and so forth. But Margot, in short, was more easier to go along with this marriage than she was before. I think because of who it was this time and how they did it. Because one, it was because of the Fairy Queen that she's really getting married, so it's kind of like, I don't have to say anything. I can't say anything yet, but I'm going to have to go with it. Versus last time when it was the Prince of Glory just walking in, putting them under illusion spell and forcing her to marry them, you know? So it's different circumstances. Not to mention, I think she found the guy really attractive. So that also played a good role, because at first she thought it was the brother-in-law, but then it turned out it was just the older brother. She's like, okay, I can do this. And we can see her starting to well, I don't know if she actually felt feelings for him, but she was sexually attracted to him, that's for sure. But still, And we also got to see there is still tension between Margot and the Prince of Loria. And I was kind of looking at that like, I think there's still some sexual attention there. Because all the sex puns too were helpful. But it was there, you know? And even when Margot accused of the Prince of Loria of trying to kill her husband, she was like, you weren't even in my top 50. I think that was just out of spite because she was upset that she thought he did do it, even though he didn't, but it still happened. Still, I think they are going to come back soon because now she has to let him out knowing that it wasn't him that was trying to kill the Prince of the Floating Islands. So she's going to let him go, and they're probably going to come up with a strategy in order to get rid of her new current husband, which is the little brother. And can we just agree that how the little brother killed his older brother was awesome? The whole arrow while they were getting dressed was lame. But then, as he said, I do just chop his head off. Like, did nobody see that axe just sitting there? Nobody, no questions. But I liked how he just cut his head off. All right. And he just walked in, excuse me, I'm getting married now, my turn, I have to do what I have to do. And no one had objections about it. And I think the Fairy Queen had a role in this because she was the first one to say, you better marry him, let's go, come on, marry him. Like, I think she did this in order to get back at Margot for what she did for crushing her eye and what happened on the boat in episode 4 of last week. So, but we're gonna look into that more and probably in episode 6 next week. But it's still something we have to touch on. And we learned that the path to the third key is linked to sort of time. Like, it's needed in order for time magic to be done. Because, of course, it's the mosaic. And like they said, the mosaic is when you take different pieces and put them together to make an image. And apparently it's supposed to show all the beauty of life. And the whole concept of that quest was interesting. It was simple, yet it was complex, as Elliot and Quentin had to spend decades trying to get this puzzle together. Like, they lived whole lives in pursuit of this one part of the quest. And we got to see them grow old, get close together. Like, when Quentin kissed Elliot, I was just like, oh my God, they really kissing. So they're going about their feelings, but then I saw that they didn't keep going with their feelings as Quentin eventually fell in love with the Peach girl, got married, had kids, then she died, then he had to raise his son. So I feel like that's when Elliot came back in. So now he has a 2-dad household, you know, better than no 1-dad household, seeing that your mother's dead, because he died at a young age. Let's go to next. So on the list, Quentin was the reason that Jane Chatwin had time magic. Like he said, Jane Chatwin didn't solve the mosaic. She said someone already solved it, which she was right, it was them that solved it. But how you're Jane Chatwin. She's like, how you know me? He was like, you have that kind of face and name, blah, blah. And then he gave her the key saying, you're gonna need it for the beast. And she's like, what? What's the beast? You're gonna find out soon enough. Because he didn't want to ruin the timeline, and he knew that he played a role. So again, because if we go back to season 1, she brought up how every single time she's trying to change the timeline, he will always show up no matter what. And I see why is that now, because she needed him, and then in the past, she needed him, and he needed her, and so forth. So they're kind of tied by that time loop. And we got to see that she's not dead. She's just in the clock bearings and can never leave. But she still has magic, we see, which is interesting. So on the linear plane, the key is there. So you can have multiple keys based on the plane, because she had the key in her hand while she was at the clock bearing versus the key that is at break bills in a different timeline on the linear plane, which is interesting and we need to keep in mind of. So I'm going to make a theory review about that coming soon. Okay. And then we still see that even though Magic Gone, alternate timelines are something important and useful, because I didn't think that the quest would go back in time in order to get this key so that you can change timeline that was the original timeline in order to make a new timeline. That was threw me on. I was like, okay, so then Margot brought back the key. So now they have 3 keys. But I'm trying to remember, so technically shouldn't there be 4 keys? Because the key that Elliot had about to open the clock, Margot had 2 keys in her hand, while the other key was with Julia and Alice, as they were trying to figure out what to do, well, that's what we're talking about next. So shouldn't there be 4 keys now? But 2 of the keys are the same key, it seems like, because Quentin set the key in the key he used to get back to Fillory in the future at Margot's wedding. She came back with 2 keys, and when she came back, Ellie was just about to open it, meaning there's 4 keys now. So I'm just like, so now there's duplicate keys or something? So it shouldn't be, but maybe as timelines merges, one will vanish and mix, and they will fuse together. That's one way time typically works. And I think that's evident because at the end of the episode, when Elliot and Quentin fully remembered their other timeline's history from reading that letter, then they gained the memories and knew everything that happened and then kept going without being that old. So I think that's how time works for the Magician universe. So let's go ahead and talk about the biggest thing that I was kind of half, maybe 75%. You guys gauge how right I was about my theory about why Julia can use magic, and I am surprised that, by the way, the video is going to be right here, but I didn't think that video would get so much attention in less than, it's barely a month old, and it's already one of my most watched videos on my channel compared to my other videos that have been up for months, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy, you know? But we learned that you thought I was going to talk about it. You thought I was going to talk about the Lady Underground interaction with Julia. Ha, you thought. But I'm going to save that for my theory video out next week. So if you really know what I want to think about in my theories, then you're going to have to wait till next week to check out the theory video. I know. That's so unfair, but I couldn't help it. It's just, I was too right. I was kind of right and kind of wrong, but I'm not saying no more. Nope, no more. You can't beg me. You have to wait until after episode 6 next week. So 1 week from now on Friday. All right. So like, subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.